Hello, hello. So, got a new story today. It says here, sheriff's wife claims man groped her, leading to unlawful arrest. Golly. Well, let's run.
Let him go.
No, they finna break my arm, man. They finna break my arm.
A couple says they were
To break my arm? He's obviously trying to put handcuffs on you.
minding their own business inside of a Georgia gas station when they say a sheriff from another county
Is this woman wrestling the handcuffs away from
suddenly and violently arrested them. Well, now they filed a lawsuit against the sheriff and his wife.
Who takes a picture like this?
We have the video, we have details from the lawsuit, and we have what the sheriff has to say about it. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. It's not that strange to have a story about a sheriff arresting someone at a local business, but when that sheriff is the leader of a different county's law enforcement and it's claimed that the arrest was unprovoked, then we're dealing with a little bit of a unique situation. And that is what a Georgia couple.
He's a member of a different jurisdiction, and the arrest was unprovoked. Like, the first thing doesn't really matter. He's making the arrest. And the second thing, it can't be unprovoked. It could be unlawful, but unprovoked? That doesn't make any sense. Was he like drawing a number out of a hat and arresting you?
Is claiming happened to them in April of 2022, because now 2 years later, almost to the day, they have filed a civil lawsuit against the sheriff and his wife, who just happens to be one of his deputies. Let me
Plaintiff Darius Rice, there after Mr. Rice, and Ashley Jackson, and Mrs. Jackson, if you're nasty.
break this down for you. So here's the allegation from Darius Rice and his then girlfriend, Ashley Jackson. The two were at a gas station near where they lived in Henry County, Georgia, south of Atlanta. Rice says he inadvertently bumped into April Tinsley inside of the store, but Tinsley allegedly told her husband, Clinch County Sheriff Stephen Tinsley, that Rice groped her buttocks.
Oh,
Rice says the next thing he knew,
grabbed some
Sheriff
booty.
Tinsley had violently grabbed him and threw him against a wall. And that led to a scuffle between April Tinsley and Jackson.
That sounds like a provocation, right? He thought you were violating his wife.
Now, we got our hands on video of the confrontation in the gas station parking lot, as well as the civil lawsuit that Rice and Jackson are filing. We're going to start with the video, which begins after that initial confrontation or encounter between Rice and Sheriff Tinsley. This is when Rice already has handcuffs on him. So Jackson apparently saw something was up, started filming. Tinsley allegedly tried to arrest Jackson for allegedly touching the sheriff. Jackson says,
Well, she was touching the sheriff. She was literally like trying to take the handcuffs out of his hands, and she was trying to stop the arrest. So he had every reason to arrest her. And just from the beginning, she was being very loud. I mean, they could be in the right, but the way she conducted herself, I mean, he couldn't even continue with his arrest unless he arrested her too.
Tinsley took her phone away from her, put it inside the truck, and then someone else picks up their phone and starts recording. So we have this other recording that picks up all the action from there. Let's take a look.
Are you talking about getting the cops? You're not seeing him to know. Let him go. Let him go.
No, they finna break my arm, man. They finna break my arm.
Are you serious?
They finna break my arm. Get break my.
He's telling her to move because she's pretty much extending the situation way beyond what it needs to be. I don't like when people do this. You're just like, if you have a problem with the situation, just let them do the arrest and then deal with the situation after the fact. You can't deal with the situation in the middle of the situation. You can't argue yourself out of that.
What's your
I haven't
name?
done anything.
What's your name? Get my phone. What
Please,
your
just
name?
stop. Just stop.
What's your name?
Just
What's your
stop.
name?
What do you mean, what's your name? This is not conversation time, lady.
Phone.
Just stop, please. Just please. I'm begging you, stop.
They got my phone.
Oh,
She took
shit.
my phone. For what?
Okay, so Sheriff Tinsley and his wife are standing at the open passenger side door of a truck, neither in full uniform, but Sheriff Tinsley does have a badge on his breast pocket and on his belt. He also has a gun on his hip. Ashley Jackson is holding onto one of the ends of the handcuffs while the sheriff tugs on the other. His arms are pulled behind his back as the sheriff struggles to get control of the cuffs. Jackson is accusing April Tinsley of taking her property.
I'm not done, bro. You see. Oh my God.
What are you doing?
Oh, it hurts so bad.
Let me go.
He didn't let her go. Are you serious? Let her go? She's disrupting the whole situation, man. I'm just saying, if the sheriff is breaking the law and he's making an unlawful arrest, the last thing you want to do is interrupt them in the middle of him freaking committing the crime, because then you want to accuse him of that crime and possibly sue the department. So why would you interrupt it?
Get him. Let her go. Get off of me. You don't even know me. You don't even know me. Don't touch me because you in the wrong and she in the wrong.
The sheriff grabs onto Jackson and pulls her towards him, but she slips out of the jacket that he's holding. Now, when the camera pans, we see that Henry County police have arrived on the scene, and they're trying to get a handle on what exactly is going on, just like everybody else is trying to figure out what's going on.
We're going to figure out what's going on, right?
Yeah.
It's in the car. Bro, this is not... I'll take the store. What was that?
Like what? They didn't even do nothing wrong.
Hey, sir. I saw...
Still arguing.
I did not see him.
Wait till the police come over to take a statement, then you can say whatever you need to do. All this arguing back and forth is pretty much just delaying the situation, and everyone's just there all freaking night.
Literally.
He's saying he assaulted him.
He didn't do nothing. Literally.
Literally.
I cannot believe y'all really did that. I cannot believe you and your lady actually did this to him. I cannot believe that. I can't believe that. That is very unacceptable.
They're racist. Everyone in the situation should be arrested.
That's very unacceptable. Everybody saw it. That's very unacceptable. I cannot believe you and your lady did that.
Arrested her with her jacket hanging off.
Rice is now handcuffed, and the sheriff has put him in the Henry County patrol car. Jackson also in handcuffs. The witness who's recording, as well as other people standing nearby, say they didn't see Rice touch Tinsley.
Okay, but that's not evidence of anything. Like, why would you walk up and be like, oh, we didn't see anything. We didn't see anything. You're not helping. If they ask you to be a witness to something and you say, well, I didn't witness it, then you're not a witness. You probably have cameras. Give them the camera footage and shut up. It just...
The lady in the car got her phone. She snatched her phone out of her hands.
Who?
Her right there acting like she's not doing nothing.
She's trying to make a rest. She hit her in the face.
Are y'all on duty? Are y'all on duty? Are y'all on duty?
What's the point of that question?
Talking about an assault. Nobody did nothing.
He can still make an arrest off duty. What are you...
Are y'all on duty though?
Oh, my God.
Unbelievable. That's what I'm saying.
Like, I believe that they're in the right. I believe that he probably jumped the gun because his lady's a little off. I mean, he married his own deputy. Seems a little bit of nepotism. Either got her the job or she smashed her way to whatever position she at. And she looks like his sister. I'm just gonna say it. They built the same. They kind of look the same. Nobody's groping her. Is my assessment of the situation. So they're probably in the right, but the way they're conducting themselves in the middle of the situation, they're lucky that these people aren't pulling out their weapons, because you're just making everything worse.
Shaking hands like everything sweet.
Now people can't shake hands and.
It's okay. It's okay. She come up with him, get on the surface.
And can
You're standing right over there from the water. Okay. I don't know what was happening. I didn't see him being belligerent. He just said you're under arrest.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! You're not a witness. You didn't see anything.
you under arrest? It's not even
You
your
have no
county.
evidence.
It's not your county. This is not your jurisdiction.
Okay. No, just keep it rolling. Please keep it rolling.
It's not even his jurisdiction.
Please keep
Oh
it rolling.
God! Keep both of your mouths shut.
Grab her on a butt. Really? Okay, that's
These
how we doing
ladies are
it.
just
This not
insufferable.
even his jurisdiction.
So they grabbed the phone from her.
Yes.
And then that's when she tried to put her phone in the car. And then that's when they all.
Yeah, but you're just describing the situation. You didn't prove or disprove anything. You just said the incident that caused the whole thing, you didn't see it. You're not providing anything. The cop has to disregard everything you just said.
I'm talking about, look, that man right there, she had her jacket on. That lady right there is grabbing. I'm sorry, but I'm talking about grabbing.
Okay, so now let's get into some more of these alleged details from the civil lawsuit itself that Rice and Jackson filed in federal court earlier this month. It reads, quote, on April 7th, 2022, while inside a Quick Trip store, Darius Rice, a 37-year-old black man and a decorated combat veteran of the United States Marine Corps,
Damn it!
made an unintentional and incidental contact with
Why
Clinch
is it
County
always
Deputy
the Marines?
April
Huh?
Tinsley.
Why you gotta embarrass us like this? Well, he didn't embarrass us. I would say he's the most reasonable one in the situation. But the screaming about they're gonna break your arm, kind of soft. But he was the least embarrassing one. Those two ladies, insufferable. The wife, she's a little off. She's a little off. Not only was she not helping, she was in the back. She was in the back of her husband. For some reason, not doing anything, not helping in any way, shape, or form, and he's struggling with two people. She's a little off. And those two ladies that were filming, insufferable.
After she backed away from the coffee counter inside the store. First, I'll note he's not denying that there was some sort of physical contact, but saying it was innocent. Mr.
So he
Rice
accidentally
immediately
bumped into
told
her.
Miss Tinsley he was sorry for bumping into her. Subsequently, Miss Tinsley exited the store and immediately falsely accused Mr. Rice of groping her buttocks to her husband, Sheriff Tinsley. In response to Miss Tinsley's false accusation, Sheriff Tinsley exited his vehicle, and without any investigation to Miss Tinsley's allegations, Mr. Tinsley immediately attempted to arrest Mr. Rice, and without any justified reason to do so, Mr. Tinsley body
What do you
slammed.
mean not a justified reason to do so? His wife just reported to him that this man just groped her. I mean, that's a justified reason. He didn't investigate, though. He didn't investigate at all. But he could have still arrested the man, take him to jail, but the charges would probably be dropped because there was no evidence.
Mr. Rice into a concrete wall, causing Mr. Rice to lose consciousness. At no time did
body
Mr.
slam.
Rice resist Mr. Tinsley's attack.
He didn't resist. A man came up to him, accused him of touching his wife, and tried to arrest him under false pretense, and he didn't resist. That doesn't sound true to me.
Attempt to arrest him. Miss Ashley Jackson, Mr. Rice's girlfriend, approached Mr. Tinsley and his wife to ask what they were doing and began to record the incident. In response to being recorded, Miss Tinsley snatched Miss
In response to being recorded. So her verbal diarrhea didn't come into effect at all. She was just recording. She didn't start grabbing and stopping people or nothing. Another lie.
Jackson's phone and threw it into the back of the vehicle they were transporting the inmate in. A physical altercation occurred between Miss Tinsley and Miss Jackson after Miss Jackson
Definitely
attempted to
believe
retrieve
that.
her phone.
Most honest thing
Notably,
yet.
upon law enforcement's arrival to the scene, Miss Tinsley falsely accused Miss Jackson of grabbing Mr. Tinsley. However, at least
What?
three witnesses
I saw it in the video. She was grabbing him. Miss Jackson was she recorded herself grabbing the man.
informed law enforcement that Miss Jackson never grabbed Mr. Tinsley and that once Miss Jackson started recording the incident, Miss Tinsley grabbed her phone, threw it in the truck, and attempted to arrest her. At no time did Miss Tinsley identify herself as a sheriff's deputy, show a badge, or ID.
He's wearing
prior to
badges
attempting to
everywhere.
arrest Miss Jackson. So originally, it was Henry County Police that came out to the scene, but the lawsuit says that Sheriff Tinsley requested Henry County Sheriff Reginald Scandrett to come out. Sheriff Scandrett and several sheriff's deputies with his department, they soon arrive on the scene. An incident report states that Tinsley told a sergeant that Rice both cupped her buttocks and dragged his hand across it. The lawsuit says that law enforcement had a chance to look at the surveillance footage from inside the convenience store.
He's
Quote,
cupping it
they
and then
concluded
dragging
that it
his
looks
hands?
as if Mr. Rice
Is her
accidentally
butt cheeks
bumped
going
into
with him?
Miss Tinsley and even showed what looked like Mr. Rice apologizing. So it seems that Deputy April Tinsley was at one point put into handcuffs as well because she allegedly took Jackson's phone away from her, which would qualify as theft by snatching. But she was released. No charges were filed, reportedly
Obviously.
at the instruction of a superior officer in the police department. But according to the lawsuit, Tinsley wanted charges pressed against Jackson, claiming that she assaulted a law enforcement officer during that scuffle. But the documents point out that, quote, video footage shows that she never identified herself, displayed a badge, or made any other action to show she was law enforcement. The lawsuit says the Henry County Sheriff's Office-
so they're accusing her. So they're saying she assaulted the wife. I don't think she assaulted the wife, but she definitely put hands on the husband though.
Office took over the investigation from police and charged Rice with sexual battery. He was taken to jail, but despite the fact that Rice was apparently never actually prosecuted on that charge, this Marine Corps veteran says he lost his job because he was charged with sexual battery. Now, according to their attorney, Rice and Jackson tried to have the Tinsleys arrested and charged with assault, but he says a magistrate judge in Henry County wouldn't issue arrest warrants for the Tinsley because they are law enforcement officers.
Yeah.
What a lawsuit we're talking about right now. And speaking of which, we have a sponsor, an incredible partner called April Tinsley's Propensity to Lie. The find.com/LC sidebar or by dialing pound law. That's pound 529 on your phone. Now, something interesting included in this lawsuit is alleged evidence of what the plaintiff's attorney calls April Tinsley's propensity to lie. The filing reads, quote, attached are part of Miss Tinsley's, known as April Warren then, personnel file where the Georgia Drugs and Narcotics Agency Deputy Director Dennis Troughton says he had caught Special Agent April Warren in a lie involving her work with Special Agent Russ Moore in the drugs she had seized from R&M Cash Drugs in Ashburn, Georgia. Troughton wrote in his memo to then Director of the Georgia Drugs and Narcotics Agency, Rick Allen, quote, I am greatly concerned that a GDNA agent would lie to you regarding another agent and myself.
Wow.
The filing goes on to state, quote, on May 23rd, 2018, in a meeting with her bosses, Miss Tinsley was accused of falsifying mileage sheets, and she couldn't explain why. She was also...
She lied about something. They asked her about it, and she's just like, I can't explain it. Sometimes the lies just flow through me.
so confronted about turning in reports months late. By the way, this would typically not come into.
It sounds more like incompetence rather than lying, but could be she could just be doing it just for the thrill of the lie.
To a trial in and of its own, I imagine it would be a situation where if Tinsley were to take the stand, April Tinsley, she could be cross-examined with this kind of evidence to say that her credibility is at issue. But that's something for another point. Now let's talk about the claims. Let's talk about what they're suing for, Rice and Jackson, what they're listing in this lawsuit. So first, they have excessive force in violation of the Fourth Amendment by Sheriff Tinsley in his official capacity as Sheriff of Clinch County. So this is pursuant to a federal law, 42 U.S.C. 1983. And what it means is that Sheriff Tinsley was acting under color of law, meaning if you are a state, local, or federal official, the government, acting under legal authority, he had a badge on, attempting to make arrest. He calls law enforcement, allegedly transporting an inmate. You can make the argument that he was acting
transporting
under color
an
of law.
inmate. He's not an
but then
inmate.
you say with this claim is that what he did was beyond his legal authority. So if you're acting under color of law, you can't illegally deprive someone of their rights, specifically their constitutional rights. So the statute allows somebody to sue over this. And here the argument is that he violated Rice's Fourth Amendment by using excessive force to arrest him. The alleged
said he
body
slammed him into a freaking concrete wall or something and he passed out.
Rice not resisting, you can say The alleged body slam, Rice not resisting, you can see how he would argue that. Now, Tinsley, I imagine, could argue that he did what was necessary to control Rice, that he had probable cause to believe a crime was committed, but you get the idea. There's also a claim for assault and battery by Sheriff Tinsley. There's another claim for unlawful seizure in violation of the Fourth Amendment by April Tinsley. This is in connection with Rice's arrest. So the same idea as before, same statute, that Tinsley was acting in her capacity as deputy, color of law, violated Rice's rights through unlawfully seizing him through excessive force, willful indifference to his rights. I do wonder if Tinsley could argue she wasn't acting in her capacity as a member of law enforcement, as a deputy, that she wasn't acting under color of law. I think that's a stretch, even though she was in maybe plain clothes. If they're transporting an inmate, which is what the allegation is, and her involvement in the video at all may suggest otherwise. So it's tough to say that she wasn't acting in her capacity. But they move on that there's another claim for retaliatory arrest in violation of the First Amendment and unlawful seizure in violation of the Fourth Amendment by April Tinsley. This is in connection with Jackson's phone being taken away from her. So same federal statute that I mentioned before, color of law. But here, Miss Jackson claims that she had a First Amendment right to protected speech by recording on her phone what was happening, namely the arrest of Rice.
Yeah, but she was doing more than recording, though.
And that's true, because
she was inserting herself in the situation. She was doing way more than recording.
Police is actually legally protected speech, and a court recently held that even live streaming police is protected speech. Then you have another claim for assault and battery by April Tinsley. You have interference with possession of chattel against April Tinsley. This is in connection with Tinsley taking the phone. This is a state law. Chattel means your personal property. It's a fancy word for personal property.
There were animals involved.
For personal property here. That's her cell phone. You have intentional infliction of emotional distress. This can be a very broad claim. It can encompass a lot. Extreme.
Yeah, it would be intentional if it was found that she actually lied about the incident.
Egregious conduct. So here it's against April Tinsley, and the idea is these are false accusations that she made against Rice, causing him mental anguish and distress. Then you have a claim for defamation per se in connection with April Tinsley, telling people
pretty much arrest him for a sexual offense, which caused him to lose his job because he could be a registered sex offender because of this.
The scene that Rice had groped her buttocks. So let me explain this one. Defamation are false statements, and the key here is you don't need to say that April Tinsley knew that this was a lie, that she knew these were false statements, but basically that she acted with negligence, right? She reasonably should have known that this was a false statement. And when we say defamation per se means on its face, it's understandably so harmful to someone's reputation. Yep. It's not like a statement needs some context to understand why it's defamatory, why it's false. Claiming that Rice engaged in criminal acts, namely sexual battery, if false on its face, you can see how damaging that would be to him. Now, could she say, hey, listen, I legitimately believed he groped me. I had a bona fide belief that he groped me. I didn't see him. I didn't see the surveillance cameras yet. And maybe she didn't hear him apologize, or even if he did apologize, does that negate what he did? Two sides to every story. Defamation cases can be tricky, but it's interesting defense nonetheless. Okay, so the lawsuit says that Jackson and Rice are seeking compensatory damages of at least $10 million. This is what would make them whole again. And also punitive damages of at least $1 million. So those are damages for extremely outrageous conduct meant to punish a defendant.
There's no way you're getting that kind of money. There's no way you're getting that kind of money.
So what do Sheriff Tinsley and his wife April have to say about all this? Well, Tinsley is running for sheriff again in the upcoming election and posted a long statement on the campaign's Facebook page saying in part, quote, with the pending lawsuit against me and the one that has been threatened on social media, we are certain that the evidence will prove that there is a lot more to the story that is not being posted. And this is nothing more than a ploy by your local criminals to get their candidate elected. The plaintiff in the pending lawsuit shared the details of the case with Cindy Ruiz, who has been sitting on this information for months to release at election time. While she was dispersing information in an effort to defame me, popular word right now, Ruiz chose not to share that she is currently in a relationship with Darius Rice, which is the individual I arrested in Henry County, and she has been involved with him for quite some time. Alternatively, I am certain that Rice will choose...
Listen, Darius is getting around. Darius had Miss Jackson in your nasty, and, he had to drop that because he lost his job probably, and now he's shacked up with this lady. Listen, man. Get on him.
Not to disclose his other arrests or his history when he has his press conference or whatever he is planning. And although Ruiz and Rice may claim his timing is associated with the statute of limitations expiring on his criminal case, there is nothing that precludes anyone from filing a civil action while criminal charges are still pending. His timing is all under the direction of his girlfriend Ruiz, who has her own self-indulgent motives and is not considered the predicament either of them will face when questioned under oath. Nevertheless, we will welcome a civil trial in either case, as it would allow us to introduce evidence that would not have been admissible in a criminal proceeding, and we will be able to depose witnesses under oath to explore the plethora of information we have obtained on all subjects involved. Most importantly, a civil trial in each situation will prove that we were simply doing our jobs, and I have faith that we will be vindicated. Either way, proper federal authorities who can investigate several issues associated with both cases, as well as other problems we are having in Clinch County, have been notified, and whether I am reelected or not, we cannot unring that bell. Now, by the way, as we talk about Miss Ruiz, this appears to be somebody just on social media that's making a lot of noise, that's been posting links to this lawsuit, has been talking a lot about Tinsley, so you could see how he's calling out both Rice and Ruiz here. Really interesting development in this case. Not sure what exactly happened, what's going on, but this lawsuit, as with other lawsuits, with discovery, a lot more information comes forward. Maybe we'll get more answers, but interesting case nonetheless. And that is all we have for you here on Side.
That was wow. That was wild. I wish there was more information to find out if that lady was really lying. But it seems like she had a history of lying. But I don't know. Why would this case go on so long if they had the evidence? It doesn't seem like they do. It does seem like Darius got steamrolled a little bit. This guy's a sheriff. He has all these connections. He specifically called in this specific that officer because I guess so he can have that sort of like race objection, because they were calling him racist a little bit. So he probably specifically called in the black guy that he has connections with to kind of smooth things over for him. And he got his wife released after she stole someone's property and got accused of that. So yeah, it's a peculiar case. But anyways, until next time.